Welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and today I want to talk a little bit about something that has been on many of your minds. You saw me up there in Michigan last week doing all the unveilings, and of course bringing you the Roadkill Nights, all the fun stuff that I did up there talking with the execs. I mean, it was a great, very busy week. But today what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about day 2 and the Dodge Hornet. As they unveiled that thing, I saw every negative comment under the sun. Dodge is dead. Dodge needs to have their head examined. This is going to kill the brand. All of that. Well, today I want to give you a little bit different perspective on the Hornet and maybe help you guys understand why I think the Hornet is actually pretty cool. And this is not me just kissing Dodge's butt, as many of you guys have mentioned in the past. Oh, he got invited because, so now he's just going to kiss their butt and say he likes everything. Guys, you know me better than that. I'm going to give you the honest truth about why I think the Hornet is something you should take a second look at. And I actually think it's pretty cool. So if you guys are new to my channel, do me a big gigantic favor. Right in the corner here, you can find a subscribe button. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, you guys know you watch my content, please consider subscribing. I've got lots of fun stuff planned for this year, a brand new secret build possibly happening, lots of stuff. So anyway, guys, off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Now, I actually talked about this in my most recent live, and I did touch on it just briefly in one of my other videos, kind of my reaction video after day 2. But I actually don't hate the Hornet. I actually kind of like it, and there's some reasons why, and that seemed to really make a lot of people mad. They felt like, look, Racer X, if you're really a true Dodge guy and a muscle car guy and you drive all these fast cars, why don't you hate the Hornet? You should hate the Hornet. Everything about the Hornet sucks. You know, and I was taken back by that. I thought that was a really weird thing to say. Yes, guys, I realize that it's not a big fire-breathing V8 under the hood, and that was the only thing that was going to make a lot of you guys happy, which they've already said they can't continue to do based on whatever pressures are out there, whether it be the EPA or the government, the Stellantis parent company that they're now under, which I think has more to do with it, and I've mentioned that as well. But first I want to kind of touch on what the Hornet is not. And where I think Dodge may have screwed this up a little bit is in the marketing, because they marketed the Hornet as, yes, this is our new entry-level muscle type offering. Well, there's nothing muscle about the Hornet, let's be honest. I mean, it's small displacement, you're working with turbos on these things. We don't know what the GLH is going to bring, but once again, it's not going to be a big V8, guys, and it doesn't look like a muscle car. So when they came out and tried to market the Hornet as a muscle car, I feel like that was a mistake. And a lot of people, I think that's where the backlash came from. Why are we talking about this thing, a rebranded Tonale Alfa Romeo, right? And talking about it being a muscle car, and it's not anything like that. And I agree with that statement. It is not a muscle car, guys, and really it doesn't truly appeal to most of the muscle car guys, which, as I mentioned before, is really only about probably 2 or 3% of the true population out there. This car was put out there for the masses. It was meant to be something fun, something economical that checks a lot of boxes, and it does all that. So now let's talk a little bit about why I'm excited about the Hornet. So Dodge actually gave us 3 trim levels to look at during the unveiling on day 2. They gave us the GT, or the base level offering, the RT, and then of course the GLH, or the goes like hell. We didn't get any specs on that really at all. We got just kind of a look at the outside of it, but he really didn't go into a lot of detail about it, other than the fact that it's going to be more powerful still than the RT, and you have to buy it through direct connection, which may or may not be ideal. I'm guessing it's probably going to be on the less ideal side of things. But I want to kind of touch on the GT first, right? This is the one we need Dodge to sell an absolute zillion of. And I really hope that they will, and I think that they will, because if they build the GT and it's readily available and people are buying it like crazy, that is what is going to allow them to build the really fun stuff, the stuff that a lot of the gearheads like you and me are a lot more interested in. So when it comes to the GT, it's not all boohoo, doom and gloom. I mean, let's talk a little bit about what you do get with the GT. I wrote it all down here. So 265 horsepower, 290 pound-feet of torque, which may seem insignificant if you're used to driving a Hellcat Red Eye that makes damn near 800 horsepower. Like I said, this is not a muscle car offering, guys. This is that trim that's made for the masses. And but you do get some other really cool stuff standard, right? I mean, he called this the Hurricane 4. And up to this point, I thought the Hurricane was an inline 6 turbo, but this is a 4-cylinder turbo that makes decent power. I would say decent power, but this thing is relatively small and light. Remember, this is actually built on a car chassis, which is much lighter than the old age, Mercedes chassis that we've been using. So this is a much lighter platform with a smaller engine. So it's going to be lighter, guys. It is what it is. And you're talking about a all-wheel drive vehicle. He said it makes more torque than the Pentastar right out of the box. Like I said, it's in a lighter platform as well. And then also torque vectoring, limited slip depth. You got the Coney suspension, which he mentioned. It has a much nicer upgraded interior. Everybody's been screaming, Dodge, you need to update your interiors. Everything feels old and dated. Well, this has a much more modern updated interior on it. The screen on it is fantastic, 10.25 inches on it. And then of course for $3,000, you get some other good stuff, right? You get the it's a track pack is what he called it. And you get Brembos, which is pretty awesome. You get 20-inch wheels. You also get the Alcantara seats. That's an upgrade. And then, of course, aluminum trim if you care about that sort of thing. But for $3,000, that's actually quite a bit. So he said they could deliver this thing at $30,000 and then, of course, the $3,000 package. But for under $35,000, you actually get a lot of car. And all-wheel drive is pretty great. So great gas mileage. You get a lot of features, a lot of bells and whistles for under $35,000. They will sell a ton of these, and I'm happy they're going to do it. Now, the next trim level is the one that really has me intrigued, and that is actually on the RT, and not a lot of people are talking about it because when Tim read off the numbers for this thing, I think everybody was just underwhelmed. We become so spoiled with all the numbers out there in terms of huge horsepower and all that kind of stuff. But we need to keep in mind, this is a hybrid offering. It's the first hybrid or first electrified vehicle Dodge has ever come out with. And yeah, maybe the horsepower numbers don't sound crazy, right? Like 285 horsepower, but 383 pound-feet of torque. And we all know how hard and fast torque comes on with electric motor assist. And that is really the big thing on the RT. So yeah, look at the numbers individually and think, oh, well, this is super underwhelming to call this thing an RT. But I have driven enough electric cars to tell you that this thing will be fast. It will be extremely fast off the line. Remember, all-wheel drive. It's a newer, lighter chassis. I mean, we're not working with old Mercedes chassis anymore. Brand new, much nicer interior. The most powerful crossover, or the compact crossover on the market, Tim said. And I think we're kind of underestimating what this thing will really do. It has a 30-mile electric range all by itself. Now, the really cool thing, 75 miles a gallon. And when it comes to performance, if you're rolling around in your RT Charger, you come into a stoplight against a Hornet GT, even though you make more power, I can just about guarantee that Hornet will absolutely walk you from a stoplight, and you have a Scat Pack, I guarantee you it's going to give you fits. And you're going to say, well, how is that possible, Racer X, with so much less power? It's the way the car makes power. I talk about it all the time, and I'd be willing to bet. Like I said, it's got power on demand as well. Some people think that that push-to-pass system they have on this thing is kind of gimmicky, and yeah, maybe it is. But at the end of the day, he said it takes a full second off the 0 to 60 time, and that makes a big difference as well. So don't underestimate how much power this thing will have. And it's not a muscle car, guys. I've said it before, but in terms of being fun and surprisingly fast, it is every bit that. And I think it will really surprise some people. Now, I won't go into a lot of detail on the last trim, which is the GLH, but we did see them unveil that. They just kind of left us wanting on this. That's a whole nother video I have coming up about what Dodge did not tell us, and it is a lot. But it looked pretty cool. It looked more aggressive, certainly, than both the GT and the RT did. We don't know price. We have to order it through direct connection. My gut feeling on the GLH is it's going to be pretty hard to get, and it's going to be, I'm guessing, over 500 horsepower. Like I said, guys, this is just me speculating. I feel like if they were going to put a Hurricane inline 6 turbo in anything, that would be the trim they do it in. And if it's a 500 horsepower all-wheel drive small crossover, I think that thing is going to be pretty formidable, especially when you start modding them. We know how formidable the turbo cars can be when you start modding them, and it's really not that hard to do. So I think that's going to be that upper level trim. Like I said, guys, this is not a muscle car, so please don't mistake it. Everybody wants to hate on it because Dodge brought it out, and it wasn't the big fiery V8. It didn't look like a muscle car, because that's not what it is. And I don't even know if I would be interested in a GLH trim level, but the RT is intriguing to me just because if I was going to daily something that got 75 miles a gallon, that I could actually go out, that was practical. I could go out, I could gap a lot of cars with it, especially off a stoplight. It would be enough to have fun with, but it also checks all the boxes. I feel like the RT does all of those things. And so, yeah, I was a little bit optimistic when they showed it, simply because I know if they sell a bunch of them, that allows Dodge to get out there and do their thing, get all the fun stuff out to us. And that's the stuff we really want. So kind of take a little bit different approach to it, a little bit different perspective. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, is it really an epic fail when you think about things objectively? I'd love to know what you think in the comments down below, and I will catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.